On today's T.E.A Talks, we're going to be talking about how you can become an authority in your space. Erin today is going to probably give us a little bit of a rundown and some few ideas on how to set yourself down as the authority in the space, how to own it. So Erin, take us through it. So what do you mean by becoming the authority within your space?
Firstly, this is weird. The shoe's on the other foot.
It is.
I don't know if I like this. This is weird. You're interviewing me. This is very strange. But no, this is good. So look, we wanted to record this T.E.A Talk because we want to talk about becoming, for years, we've advocated being the authority in space because it's just so powerful, right? It's so powerful. And this is kind of aside from paid media. This is really about if you're building a brand, and obviously we've got so much experience this within, those home garden lifestyle brands, but regardless of sector, regardless of business size, if you want to do really well online, you need to place yourself as the authority. And we've got tried and tested ways of doing that. We've been advising brands for more than a decade here at Evergreen. I know you've been doing it your entire career. I've been doing it my entire career, both client side and agent side. It's just how can we, as a brand, how can we stand out? And there's a premise that we've used that's very common, everyone's heard of it. It's called evergreen content. And it quite literally, that as a principle is where the name of our agency, the Evergreen Agency, came from. You go back years and years and years to when, even the early 2000s, when the internet was in its infancy, really, there was I kept seeing this topic of evergreen content. I kept hearing this thing, evergreen content, and I was like, what's this? What is this? And when I started to look into it, the premise was really simple. It was essentially use your website as a place, a portal to showcase your expertise, your experience, and to add value and to offer insight, educate, advise, help the end user, the customer, whoever you're trying to market towards. Just genuinely be of service to them. And by creating evergreen content, which is not a branded term, it's actually a thing, you can Google it. By creating evergreen content, what you're doing is you're creating content in whatever form, whatever media, but it's going to be valuable today and 10 years from now. And so we've got content that we created years ago for clients that still ranks top of Google right now, still huge, and is a source that it's the gift that keeps on giving because it's genuinely valuable now and it was genuinely valuable 10 years ago. And so it just keeps doing it. So how you become the authority in your space is by creating evergreen content. And in this T.E.A Talk, we're going to get into, well, what does that look like and so on.
So effectively, the content never goes out of date.
Yeah.
That's what we mean by that, isn't it? Yeah. So just give us a couple of examples. What kind of evergreen content would you recommend, or what kind of content you see working best? What you wouldn't do? And so on. Just talk us through that very quickly.
So what I'll do, I'll give you a couple of examples, but what I also want to do is just explain that for the brands watching this, something that we've advocated for years is that most brands simply don't deserve to rank very well. They don't deserve it. Look, I'm telling you how it is, right? Most brands use their website, even e-commerce brands use their website as basically a shop window. They use it as look at all of our products, look at all of our categories. And at best, they'll have maybe an about page. This is a team page. This is about us. We've been going for 30 years. We've got a heritage or whatever. They'll have a little bit about them, but essentially, if you look at a website, most brands' websites, even really established brands, they treat their website purely as a shop window to sell. It's lots of product images, lots of product pricing, and then you click through, you buy the product, they'll have a description and so on. If you're Google, why should Google care if you've got 500 products and your competitor's got 500 products or 5,000 products? If your website is only a long list of products and prices and images, why should a search engine care? And fundamentally, I've spent years, I've stood up at some of the biggest stages in our industry advocating that if you're a brand, you need to think of your website as part as part of shop window, but also as an information resource.
Yes.
And if you do that, if you turn your website into an information resource by creating evergreen content, then what you're doing is you're starting to build yourself into an authority. And so fundamentally, where most brands get their content marketing, because most brands will have, most of the people watching this T.E.A Talk will have or think they have a content marketing strategy.
Which is not posting on Facebook.
Which is, well, it's posting on socials, and it'll be churning out blog post after blog post.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a spray and pray approach.
Very much so.
What brands need to do, and what we have advocated for years for our brands to do as part of our digital strategy service, is we look at them, we look at their competitors, we look at the wider industry, and crucially, we look at the questions, the problems that their target customer has, or that the product that they're selling or they're marketing can solve, or the service or whatever. And we'll go, what is the information we can create? Not keywords, not specific, but whole topics that you can... Basically, what's the reason you're in business? What's the reason for why you've created that product and why you've seen a gap in the market, why your business exists? What is it that you're an expert at, that you are an authority at? The reason people pay you money for your service, your time, your product. What is the reason people are doing that? You're an expert at something, or by providing something.
Yeah.
You need to take that expertise and you need to showcase it and add the value via your website, via videos, via written content, whatever.
Exactly that. And this is such a fantastic point, because you see, there is so many websites that I go onto, and and I can see that big slogan saying, the UK is leading, whatever. And then I just look at the website and I think, why the hell should I listen to you just because you gave me a banner saying you're leading in something?
Yeah.
Prove to me, if you want to prove you're a comedian, make me laugh. And I think those websites which have got massive resource behind them and the wealth of information. Yeah. These are the ones that I seem to be building a lot more affinity for and a lot quicker.
It makes it's nothing revolutionary here.
No.
It's really, really simple stuff. And yet we see brands, the common characteristics we see in brands, both big and small, is we'll say, what's your content strategy? And this is all about, if you want to become the authority space, it's have a content strategy, but that's built on creating evergreen content so that you avoid the spray and pray approach to the content you create in whatever medium you're using, as say, whether it's video or graphic, whatever you're doing, but you want to avoid a spray and pray. You want to avoid that getting up thinking, oh, we need to do another blog post, let's write a topic on X or Y, which again happens quite frequently. You can still do the seasonal stuff and the really relevant stuff based on, that's very timely. Of course you're going to do that. But alongside that, you need those evergreen pieces that just really reinforce the reason you're in business, the expertise you have, the experience you have. It just adds that credibility. And it just, brands just need to think, how can I add value? How can I turn my website into a genuine source of information, of inspiration, of ideas, a real hub? It's why we have a growth marketing hub on our website, and this T.E.A Talk will be featuring on it alongside all the others. We create a hub of information on our website to showcase the expertise we have in our team and so on. And that is, again, because we want to become the authority within the digital space for homegrown lifestyle brands. That's our aim. We can say all day long that we're great at all of this stuff. We do all this digital marketing stuff. Absolutely. And we can shout about it, and we can put, to your point, we can put banners saying, oh, we're the best, and we do. We can do all that stuff, but to back that up, to become the authority, to add that credibility, we've got to showcase our expertise, and we've got to put ourselves out there. We choose T.E.A Talks and all of the other means we have. Brands can decide for themselves, but it comes back to not just relying on, well, this is our service and this is our product. So how can you add value, and I always tie it back to, what is the reason that brand is in business? What is it you're an expert at? Because you're in business, your business exists because you're genuinely helping someone with something. Therefore, what is it? What is that as a topic? And then how can you become the expert on that? And then if you tie it into topics and themes that people are, well, they've got this problem, they're searching for this. They were searching for it 5 years ago, and they're probably going to be searching it still in another 5 years. Great. How can we what's the best medium to take that content and get it in front of, place it on our website to become the authority in the space?
So just thinking quickly about the essentially companies that we work with, or brands we work with within our space. What is the key takeaway to give them to actually just go out and elevate and just go out there and own this space and become the authority?
I think don't overcomplicate it. I think use your competitors. So there's a couple of things. Use your competitors to really get a good sense of what they are doing. Look at, and the best thing, take it offline. The best piece of advice I give when it comes to thinking about what's the best online, take it offline. Go and speak to your sales teams. Go and speak to your colleagues, everyone that's in your business. What are the questions you most get asked? What are the most common problems that you're addressing, that you're fixing with your product, your service? And then think, right, what content have we got that addresses that problem, that discusses that need, that requirement, whatever it might be. And then once you have a topic, forget a keyword or a very specific thing, what is the topic that encapsulates that and multiple what's the theme really? The theme that encapsulates what it is the problem you're solving. And then, best piece of advice, go and Google it. Because when you go and Google that as a topic and Google different synonyms and different variants, go and Google it, see who's coming up. Because if you see, oh, it's so-and-so competitors keeps coming up and I'm finding their blog post or I'm finding their guide or I'm seeing their videos on YouTube or I'm seeing this. When you find that is the search engines, that's your Google, that's your YouTube, that's social media saying, this is the best content we've got on that topic. Now, it might not always be evergreen content, but you'll often find that it is because it's something they may have created it years ago, but they've updated it since. And the great thing with evergreen content is you can update it and keep it super relevant as times change and things move on. But Google, the great thing about Google is it's going to tell you what it thinks, and all of the platforms are going to tell you what it thinks is the best right now. So you can look at that and you can go, well, they've got a really great thing with, several thousand words, and they've got downloads and they've got graphics and they've got videos and they've got really great content that really then links internally to their products. And here's the answer to your question, and I'm going to link off to all of that good stuff. Then compare that to what you've got. Right?
Fantastic.
And once you've done that, you can look at what you've got, and then that sets the benchmark in terms of what I need to create. Whatever I've got right now, I need to create something better than that. And if you can't do something that's better than that, move on to a different topic. And that's the whole premise of evergreen content, is you've got to find what is the best out there right now. You've got to then work out how can I create something bigger, better, more impressive, more up to date, more relevant, more impactful, more educational, whatever it might be, that trumps that. You then need to update it, and then you need to do that with consistency, and then find another topic and another topic. And by doing that, you can then trump your competitors and start to place yourself as the authority in that space. And it's the whole premise is just built around this evergreen. It's a hugely powerful concept. Our brands, for the most part, we provide the roadmap, and we say we do the research, we do the analysis, we come up with the strategy and the plan of this is how you're going to become the authority. And then our brands, they do their own content in-house. They'll have their own marketing team that will physically write the content, produce what they need to produce. But we're advising them on how to become the authority. Yeah. And just on that, then, just to sort of wrap this episode. So what we'll do with this T.E A Talk, because we've got some amazing guides and resources on evergreen content, what we'll do below this T.E A Talk on our Growth Marketing Hub. So if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll link to the Growth Marketing Hub, to the specific guide. But we've got some amazing resources around evergreen content. What it is, how to do it, step by step, really broken down, way more granular than we've covered in this T.E A Talk. But just know it's a hugely powerful principle that even if you're creating content, if it's not evergreen content, it's probably not going to be half as impactful. Follow the steps in our guide, and I can pretty much guarantee you will become, if you do it consistently, the authority in your space. And of course, if you need a hand in terms of, some advice on how to do it, then obviously, give us a shout. There's my plug at the end of the episode. But yeah, I could talk for hours about becoming the authority, because I've done it for the best part of 20 years.
Yeah.
Hugely powerful, and not enough brands are doing it and doing it properly.
Look, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So if you have any thoughts, if you want to drop a comment below, just let us know what you think, whether you feel that you are the authority but not getting anywhere, or maybe you are building yourself up to become the authority. We want to hear your thoughts. So thank you so much to Aaron today. It was absolutely fantastic. We had a blast, and see you next time. Bye for now.